Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you because the banks have to come clean. And this is wild. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. But let's get right into it. We have recently heard from the comptroller of the currency. They handle banking regulations that they have reached out to every bank, okay? The nine largest banks and 5,000 small banks, that they want to know why people were denied accounts, why they were denied loans, and they want answers. And this is huge, absolutely huge. Now, the big banks thought, hey, this may come up. Oh, and in late August, they started to put together different reasons why accounts were closed. Now, let's say you bounced a lot of checks, or you did nefarious things. You kited checks, you did bad things. You know, this was a reason to close somebody's account that wouldn't be for some political reason. But what the banks have to do right now, every single one of them, is they have to go out and they have to look at cases where people were denied access to banking. Give us a good reason why they were denied access, or you're going to have to reinstate their accounts and they're going to have real problems. Now, here's the thing about this. This is why I'm talking about this, is that people go out and they have a bank account. And once I had a business that had to have a line of credit, and it needed to use the line of credit weekly, because we would go out and we had a deal with Sam's Club, and we would pay Sam's Club up front, and then they would reimburse us digitally, electronically, about 4 days later. And there was no way to work the float. You couldn't write a check and cross your fingers that it wouldn't cash. You had to have the money because it cleared that night. Okay? So the line of credit was needed. And sometimes it was 30 grand a week and more. And the thing about this was, you have to have this. Now, the banks right now would go out and they would say, well, Dan, you have this huge opportunity to work with this big company. Not going to do it. Well, you need to have a good reason for that. Is it my credit? Is it you don't like me politically? Well, what they were finding out was, when you sit down with a loan officer, it is not like filling out an application for a credit card. They sit down and they chat, they talk. What are you into? What are you doing? Do you have family? Are you married? And again, things that are none of their business, but be rude to these people and you'll get denied faster. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit down and have a conversation with these people. Well, what they've done is, during the Biden administration, and you can read the Wall Street Journal article, it's the first article, talked about how, just going to deny these people, don't like them. So even people with opportunity loans. Now, here is the thing about this. The smaller banks, which are known as community banks, these banks have it set up to where it's supposed to be easier to get these loans. Now, think about this. I own a small taco shop and I've got two locations, and we could take over this other location, but we're going to need money to do that, an opportunity loan. We have a construction company and we need to expand, and we need materials, we need to hire more employees, we need to get tools, trucks, things like that. Opportunity loan. We're riddled with debt. We have, God, we're just overwhelmed, and I'm about 200 grand upside down. I need to borrow money to put the fires out. That is not an opportunity loan. What they found out was that the banks were denying these people for whatever reason, political, religious, everything. And you can't do this. You can't deny somebody a loan based on the color of their skin. You can't deny it because of somebody's religious beliefs. And did this happen? Weekly, all the time. Happened in the big banks, the big nine banks, Capital One, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase, B of A, you know what I mean? And then the other ones that are the bigger ones. But where the concern comes is the 5,000 small banks that you couldn't even name. And these banks went out and denied people all this money and shut their accounts off and froze accounts. Now, think about this. For those of you that have ever had your account frozen, it always comes at the worst possible time, and you lose opportunities. You can't pay your bills. You got to put out fires some other way because the money's not there, not available to you. Imagine that this was done to you for a political reason. Well, now they're going after these people. These banks are in huge trouble for this. When you read this, it's like, oh, wow, this really did happen. These people really did heinous things to these people and shut them down. So you need to live in a world where there's a fair playing field. And people laugh when I say that in business because there's no such thing, Dan. And it's not. But what you don't want to have is you don't want to have a world where things are politically motivated in either direction. You just don't. You don't want it for religious. You don't want it so that, Dan's a farmer and my brother-in-law's a farmer and he lives about 3 miles away. It'd be nice if I put Dan out of business so my idiot brother-in-law would have a better chance because Dan's a much better businessman than him. No, no. So these banks have been called out for this and they're in huge trouble for this. It's absolutely going to happen. But I want you to think about this. If you or anybody you know or any friend or relative or anybody, I've sent this to probably 12 people today. I've already sent this article. Anybody that you know that was trying to grow their business and shut down, people that were trying to sell their business and had to dump it because they couldn't get the extra money to keep it going longer, these guys are going to get sued. It's going to open up the litigation festival for these people. And it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. So, politics and business should not mix. The term debanking that we've talked about in the past, the idea with this is that I'm telling you, the reason that people were debanked were ridiculous. And I've joked about, oh, you like that college football team? You like Notre Dame? Wow, you're crazy. I'm a USC fan. People did it for things like that, which you're not supposed to. So I'm at the park and the choo-choo's coming by. So you're seeing this more and more right now. But these banks are in huge trouble with this. And look at this, guys. Think about this. Have you had any opportunity that was denied you? Did you have anything that you know of a relative? Let them know about this. It gets busier this time of the year out here because of they do the pumpkin patch just got started today, so that's crazy over there. Crazy with kids, that is. Now, how about this one? The Atlanta airport is a zoo. It's horrible. It is so busy. I hate going there. My daughter likes to fly Delta, and that's their main hub. And you have to, if you go here or there, you go to Boston, you fly into Atlanta, and then you trade planes, and it sucks. It's just awful. They were given the opportunity to get a $37 million grant if they got rid of the DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They wrote the feds back and said, you know what, we're just going to give the money back. We're going to maintain these programs. Huh? It's $37 million. Yeah, we're going to go out and get some loans instead and look at our other options. So we want to keep, racial hiring and the way we do things around here. We don't want to make changes. That is insane, guys, because it's $37 million. Again, the second article below is that there's a huge problem here in Southern California where the mayor of Los Angeles, I'm in Orange County, I'm in the county below LA, and Karen Bass has come under fire because there's been a lot of homeless money that was pissed away. And that's the only way to put it. They don't know where it went. And they just spent, so she doesn't have to testify, $6 million on lawyers fighting this so that Karen Bass does not have to testify and answer questions as far as where these private, these nonprofit organizations did with this money. Her friends, people like that. And they're saying this is a win for free speech. And you're like, talking about, what are you talking about? You guys took this money. It was supposed to go to the homeless. There's $23 billion missing. There's another $2 billion they found. And she got good lawyers that just tied everybody up into court to where she doesn't have to testify now. Okay, so what's the win? That woman thinks she's going to run for re-election next year, which is funny. I just heard we're excited about next year and running. And you're like, are you kidding me? all the fires in LA County that were under her watch, and 12,000 homes have been burnt down and lost. All the businesses, everything that happened during that time, schools that were closed, and you don't have 200 building permits yet that have been approved to even start building. So again, the leadership is a joke, and but hey, they fought it. You know, you I'm telling you, whenever I talk to somebody about their business, expanding their business, doing anything with money, you've got to go and ask questions. Go talk to banks. And yeah, again, banks are going to converse with you, but people sit there and go, wait, are they going to use this against me? Yes, some might. But you need to have multiple banks that you deal with. You need to have multiple opportunities out there so that if you ever do need money, you have a place that you can go. Because what's going to happen is these banks are going to get sued. They're going to reach out to people and say, hey, Dan, we want you to come back to Wells Fargo Bank because of how you were mistreated. And people are going to go, okay, great. Well, what does that do for Dan? Seriously, you reopen my bank account now because you guys, I want to swear so bad, treated us so horribly. What is that going to do for somebody? They're out of business. Okay. Okay. You can open up the account and do nothing. So this is bad, guys. It's bad, but they finally have accountability with this stuff. And I am telling you guys, it just think about this. Let's say you wanted to start a nonprofit and you didn't want, you didn't do it the way that they wanted you to do it, you know, gonna be a problem. Train circles back. Speaking of nonprofit, now's a good time to mention this. My good friend Fran Glover runs a charity called Joseph Dreamhouse, and this is disgusting. September is what they call Hunger Awareness Month, which is insane, guys. We have a month to remind you that there's people out there that can't afford a meal, that can't feed their children. This is terrible. And what Fran does is Fran puts together food for people and meals for people so that they can cook healthy meals with their kids and feed the families. And she has done hundreds of thousands of meals. The money that you give goes directly to her. I put my money where my mouth is every year, and I donate a good chunk of change to this lady and her organization. And I know one thing, that it's 100% going to go to feeding people. If you want to donate to this, she calls it Hunger Action Month, which is let's all step up and use our compassion and put forward the action to give people some money. So if you want to donate, the link will be below. But I'm telling you, it's a 501c3. It is a tax deductible donation. She is one of the best people I know. Okay, because this is what her and her husband do. Okay, so there's more to come. Now, let's face it, that's fun for about 15 minutes. Okay. Uh, the Fed just announced that personal consumption expenditure, which is what economists like to use to gauge real inflation, rose 1/10 of 1% to 2.7% for the month of August. And it was 2.6 in July, and it was anticipated to go up 1/10 of 1%. So it was spot on with what they thought. But there's a bunch of other stuff in the economy that's a major concern. And the first thing is good old, you've got CarMax and places like this that are in real trouble. CarMax sales are down, and we've talked about this, guys. We talked about how the auto industry is seeing big problems when it comes to sales. The market has fallen out. I'm telling you guys, I did this story on Enterprise, and people are like, I looked on their websites. Those prices aren't that good. I'm telling you guys, you need to go in. You need to go in with cash or a cashier's check or a checkbook to be able to pay for your auto. And go, what do you guys have? Look through the inventory up front. Don't look at the prices and make ridiculous offers. That did happen. There was a $12,000, Escalade that was worth 90 grand. That happened, guys. And they're desperate. They owe so much money, they will never get out of this. They will not survive this. You know, $2.5 million, $46 billion in loans, and now the next one is, the auto industry flashing a big problem with loans and with inventory. CarMax has a huge amount of inventory. You have that Tricolor, the subprime lender that went out of business. Think about it. They have 100,000 cars, 100,000 automobiles that they have loans on that they cannot find the people that bought the cars. What idiot was running this place? Seriously. So you're going to see problems when it comes to the auto industry. It's going to get worse. You know, New York City has these mandates that they just passed that in 2015, think about this, 10 years ago, someone passed away from an explosion with an illegal um, oven that was hooked up. So you need to either have a licensed contractor or a uh, plumbing professional hook up um, hook up um, your stoves now. This will add, they say, $500 to the jobs. $500 in new construction. It's just going to make it more and more expensive. Don't worry, somebody will pay for it. It won't be us. Okay. Starting to see crazy things like shoplifters be chased by drones right now. I love stuff like this, guys. There was a huge robbery that I covered on the private channel. We have a private channel, I Allegedly Lie. We talk about things in the economy, things in politics, a little bit of everything that we can't talk about other places. But I showed this robbery where 20 people went into a jewelry store and in literally 90 seconds had over $1 million worth of merchandise. Cha-ching. Okay. Why walk in and steal a watch when you can steal $1 million with 19 of your closest friends? So crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. The Ivanpah solar farm. If you've ever driven to Las Vegas from California, right before you go to, when you go down the big hill and you go into state line, there's a thing called the Ivanpah Ranch, which is a solar farm that was set up with thousands of mirrors. And these mirrors would follow the track of the sun, and then they would project on a, you know, 400-foot tall tower, and it would generate power. It cost $2.2 billion. The the Obama administration gave them, well over $1.2 billion in forgivable grants and loans. Things not producing the electricity, and it's going to shut down in early 2026. Now, the one thing that this thing was successful at is the environment. It killed birds on a daily basis. 6,000 birds a year would fly over this, and it's over 1,000 degrees. They would be incinerated. It was horrible to think about that, but it's so hot with those reflecting mirrors being pointed at these towers that birds would fly and just get singed, and it would be done. And it wouldn't be KFC, it would be just charred, okay? Birds, and it was terrible. So another solar failure. When this was announced, it's going to be the thing that's going to revolutionize solar in California, and it never worked out, guys. Solar power, the rebates are gone, guys. Do what you want to do. If you have solar, the biggest problem with solar right now is the repairs after the fact. When they drill a hole in your roof, oh, we have such good installers, Dan. We've never had a leak. Sure, okay? The maintenance, everything. You have so many problems with California that wants to charge people more for having solar on their house. So, let me know what you think about this. Louisiana and Mississippi had their 911 shut off for hours yesterday, and no access to anything. Whole state, whole patches of land, the largest parishes were shut down. And oh yeah, well, we got it fixed. What about the emergencies that happened during that time? I always tell people, you got to be ready for anything when this stuff happens. So, speaking of more environmental stuff, I'm going to end it with this. Arizona is getting rid of solo drivers that could drive in the carpool lanes. The high occupancy lanes make it so that if you have a Tesla or certain electric vehicles, even the hybrid cars, that you could drive in the high occupancy lane. Now they got rid of that. Guys, it's not. We're not giving you the benefit anymore. Insult to injury, guys, for these people that bought these cars and were thinking that they were going to save time going to work. And the one thing about Arizona, last time I was there, the last 2 times I was there, the traffic was so bad. I was like, this is mind-boggling how bad it is. It's like Los Angeles. So Let us know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Take a look at the private channel, I Allegedly Live. You go to iallegedly.tv or use the link below. You want to support a good cause? Check out Joseph Dreamhouse. Use the link. $5, $10, $100 goes to feeding people. And in this time of year, it makes a big difference. And Fran is always kind to me, and I always do everything I can. And I put my money where my mouth is, guys, because I give her money every year. Okay? Onward and upward, guys. I'll see you very soon.